and welcome to my very own film theory. My theory is that the Dr. Ranbir Sartain, is from the 2018 reboot of Halloween, is the one that is the one that made it so that Michael Myers could escape. Because you'll see that when Michael Myers is more than capable of breaking down those guards that are in cop cars, as is shown here. But as you'll see, the things aren't damaged in the slightest when he escapes his first one. And as the movie presents it, these are the chain of events. So first, Michael Myers breaks out, kills the 3 guards in the front, and leaves the doctor for no discernible reason. All the lunatics get out, and the doctor goes into the bus. But I found a few things that were quite peculiar about this. Notably, that the survivor, who's not a lunatic of the Michael Myers escape, was damaged like this, where he was, as far as I can tell, cut in the forehead, and yeah, but he wasn't killed, whereas the rest of the attacks Michael Myers did on the security force were snapping necks. And in other times, he does snap necks, strangle people, beat them to death, but he doesn't slice them in the head and leave them. He also does not, he is not shown to have the ability to punch someone so hard that their bones break and they start bleeding out of their head, which would probably kill them, and them still be alive and leave them. Now, there is something, he does hollow out a person's head, but that is neither here nor there, because the head was ripped off, could have been ripped off at the neck, which is much more fragile. And the thing is, when the confirmed kill we have from Dr. Ranbir is the sheriff, the big ball sheriff, whatever, the cop, and he is notably slashed many times in the neck. Slashes, not straight up gashes, or deep gashes like Michael does generally like when Michael stabs people, it generally goes through or very deep, not these surface gashes that the doctor does. And it's clear that Michael, from this scene where he stomps in the doctor's head, it's clear that Michael has no preference for the doctor, does not like him better than the security guards or anyone else. So, there's no perceivable reason why he would let the doctor survive if he was indeed the one to kill the cops. Now, I put forth my own theory, which is this. I think that they were on the bus, and the doctor pulled out his sweet knife, syringe, pen thing, and he ran up and gashed the driver, which caused the driver to cease his ability to drive. So, the bus went off the rails. It then proceeded to crash, which then, in the ensuing chaos, allowed the doctor to unlock the door, or perhaps he unlocked the door before running up and gashing the driver, which allowed Michael to get out, walk straight through the door, murder the cops. In this animation, the cops are still in the bus, but the cops likely tried to run from Michael, seeing as their bodies were strewn apart, and the one with the gash mark likely was just getting away when the boy and his father came up, and the father got out, which then distracted Michael enough to go and kill the father, and then the little boy saw the dude. He ignored his warning to run. He went up, and as you know, shot Loomis, the Dr. Ranbir, and then went back to the car to call the cops, where Michael was waiting for him, and killed them, stole his car, and went to the scene at the mechanic shop. But what I find interesting is that throughout all his killing, Michael, other than in all the movies, I believe, other than the Rob Zombie film, there's one killing where Michael does slashes, and he does have a knife, and it's with Dr. Loomis in the Rob Zombie movie, Halloween 2, at the very end, in the theatrical release, which I do not have a clip of. He slashes him some before he murders him further. And the doctor has ample motive. He knows that Michael's going to be transported to a very high security thing. The whole thing is that they are one of the main things in the beginning is that it's the last opportunity for him to escape. So it's this big deal. And he's always wanted to see Michael killing in the field. And so that is, to me, seems like a motive enough for him to do this, seeing as he's deranged based on the killing we see on the screen, and the fact that he thinks that Michael has any sympathy towards anyone. The biggest clue is that it's not his modus operandi, and he doesn't have a knife. Even if he did have a knife, gashes and then leaving someone alive as bait in general is not Michael's is not his modus operandi, which is a word in criminology that basically means the way someone kills, the way a serial killer kills. And seeing as he has no discernible modus operandi that fits this, I believe that it was the doctor, who is, in terms, a murder noob. He's only killed 2 people, if my theory is correct, 1 if not. And so he would probably be more likely to not finish the job his first attempt, which would still make sense when later in the movie when he kills a cop, he's like, oh, this is how it feels to murder a human being. That would still make sense because in my theory he doesn't kill anyone. Michael kills 2 guards and the doctor slashes one of them, which would be attempted murder. You'd get a thrill of trying to kill someone but failing because he was, I guess, too scared or too much chaos happened. But he never actually was able to go through with the murder. So the scene where he says, oh, this is how it feels to be murdered. You know, I always wanted to know what he found the thrill of murder. That scene would still make sense. So, yeah, thank you for watching. Please like, comment, subscribe, and goodbye.